to Daf Tezayin. Okay, today's Daf is Masechta Sanhedrin Daf Tezayin, and we are discussing over here the killing of an animal. The Mishnah says Ha'ari v'haza'ev. Okay, we're going to start from Tezvav Amid Beis. Ha'ari v'haza'ev. A person has uh, a pet lion and a pet wolf. Okay, and the din is the Mishnah says that you're allowed to kill it. That wolf and that lion has the same din as a shor, as an ox. We know if a shor kills a person, so then you kill the ox. And remember, you take that ox and you bring it to a bezdin of 23. You have the ox sitting in the corner, and the 23 judges decide if we should kill the ox. So the Mishnah says that even though the Torah talks about a shor, an ox, but the halacha applies to a lion and to a wolf. Amr Shlakish, Rab Shlakish says, "V'hu shehemisu." The qualifications to kill a lion, if the lion killed a human being, Avaloi hemisu. But if it didn't kill a human being, loy, then you wouldn't kill the lion, because if the lion belongs to somebody, and that somebody tamed the lion, let's say it belongs to a magician in Las Vegas, so then you have no right to kill it because it didn't do any harm to any human being. Alma kasova yesh lehem tarbus, that it's possible to raise a lion and tame a lion, v'yesh lehem baalim, and therefore the owner, it has an owner, and you have no right to kill it without provocation. Rabbi Yochanan says, if you find somebody who has a lion, afal pishala himisu, even if the lion did not kill anybody, you're allowed to kill that lion, and you're not taking money away from somebody. Alma kasova. So we see Rabbi Yochanan holds ein lehem tarbus. There's no way to raise a lion. The ein lehem baalim, and therefore they have no owner. It's like if I told you I have a sperm whale as my pet. Obviously, it's not mine. So same thing. If someone has a lion and he claims he's the owner of the lion, you're allowed to kill it without it even killing anybody. So says Rabbi Yochanan. So the Gemara says we have a Mishnah. Rabbi Lezer says, Kol hakoidim lahargan. If you kill the lion, zacha, you get reward for that. Now, so what does that mean? You get a reward for killing a lion. Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan, according to Rabbi Yochanan, lamai zacha. Rabbi Yochanan said that even if the lion did not kill somebody, if you kill it, you get something because you killed a lion, and zacha la'aron, you get the skin of the lion. It's yours. So that's Rabbi Yochanan. But Rish Lakish, according to Rish Lakish, you're never allowed to kill a lion. The only time you're allowed to kill a lion is only if it killed somebody else. When it kills somebody else, then it has a din of a shar haniskal. And therefore, when you kill that lion, you're obviously you're not going to benefit from it at all, because once you kill the lion, once it's chayav misa, you're not allowed to have any benefit. Kevan misu shavina rabbanon kamar degama dinayo. Since according to Rabbi Yochanan, the only way to kill the lion is if only if it killed somebody. So the rabbanon established it's as if. So the rabbanon says established as if you had a gemar din, a guilty verdict on this line, and it's an aser bahana. So what did it mean? What did Rabbi Lezer mean? Kol hakoidim lahargan zacha. You get what? You're not allowed to get anything from that line. And says the Gemara, my zacha. What did Rabbi Zacha mean? Zacha l'shemaim. You got a good deed, you got a mitzvah, but you obviously can't benefit from that line because it killed somebody, killed a human being. Hi, Lewis. We're on Tezvavim and Beis. Tanya, towards the last 15 lines from the bottom. Tanya Kavasi Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish said, Echad shor shehemis ve'echad behema. Here's the key word. If an ox killed somebody, ve'echad behema v'chaya shemisi, but doesn't matter if it's an animal or wild animal that killed somebody. B'chav gimel, you need a bezdin of 23 to kill that animal. Rabbi Lezer shor shehemis b'asr mishloisha ushar behema v'chaya shehemisu kol hakoidim lahargan zacha behem l'shamayim. And other animals, other wild animals that actually killed a human being, then you don't even need a 23. You need the whoever kills them first. it was Zaycha. But the point is that we're never allowed to kill an animal unless it killed another human being. Not like Rabbi Yochanan said. So if someone decides to raise a lion, we paskin that only if that lion killed somebody are you're allowed to kill it. Rabbi Kiva says animals are with 23. So the Gemara says Rabbi Kiva hainu Tanakama. Isn't Rabbi Kiva agreeing with the Tanakama? You have to look in the Mishnah. And it says the Gemara Ika Banaihu Nachash, a snake. According to the Tanakama, a snake needs Chaf Gimel. A snake needs 23 in order to be killed. But according to Rabbi Akiva, if you see your friend having a pet snake, there's no such a thing. It doesn't belong to him. And if a snake is a dangerous animal, you're allowed to kill the snake, even if the snake didn't do anything to anybody. Then the Mishnah said, now the Mishnah discussed a new topic. The Mishnah says sometimes you need 71 judges to make a judgment. If an entire Shevet did an Aveira, then you need 71 judges to judge that entire Shevet. So the Gemara says, the Gemara doesn't understand that Mishnah, that part of the Mishnah. Hi Shevet Dechata B'mai. What did the Shevet sin that you need 71 judges? If we're talking about a Shevet that was, everybody in the Shevet, let's say Shevet and Zvulun, everybody was Machal Shabbos. So what's the din? Why would I need a whole 71 judges to judge that entire Shevet? You can judge every person individually because this mitzvah of the Avera, the punishment of Chil Shabbos is Skila. When did the Torah make a difference in the type of misa that you'll get between an individual that does the Avera or a large amount of people doing that Avera? Is l'inyan avodah zara. That's referring to avodah zara. That means if an individual does avodah zara, you get skila. If an entire city did avodah zara, you get sayif. B'shar mitzvahs mipalik. But if other mitzvahs, let's say Chil Shabbos, there shouldn't be a difference if one person was Mechal Shabbos or an entire Shevet should be Mechal Shabbos. You should still need only 23 to judge the entire Shevet. It doesn't make sense that you need 71 because it's talking about B'Shevet Shehudach. So it must be the Shevet, everybody in the Shevet did avodah zara. So if everybody in the Shevet did an avodah zara, they have a din like an Irani Dachas, and you would kill them with a sayif, with a knife. You don't give them skila. So says the Gemara, is that true? L'meimer de bedina de rabin dainin le, that we consider the entire Shevet like one city that did avodah zara, and they would get the knife. Come on. Like Rabbi Yashia, like Rabbi Yonason. This is not like Rabbi Yashia nor like Rabbi Yonason. Tanya, we learned in a brisa, ad kama oisin iran dachas. How many people have to do the avodah zara in order to make it an irani dachas miyud v'ad kuf? From 10 people to 100 people. Divrei Rabbi Yashia. This is the opinion of Rabbi Yashia. If you have more than 100 people that did the avodah zara in the city, so that may not be in the city anymore. That means it has a din like a large group that did avodah zara, and therefore everybody would get skila by themselves. So it's a very narrow thing that what you would call an irani dachas. It would be like a tiny city with just about 100 people doing the avodah zara. Just up to 100. Rabbi Yonasan is saying mikuf v'adru shel shevet. If you have an entire city, let's say the entire city consists of thousands of people, but it has to be up to a majority of a shevet. If you have a majority of a shevet, then you can keep it as an irei dachas, and they would get sayif, but not a whole shevet. If entire shevet would do avodah zara, even Rabbi Yonasan would say, you don't judge them like an irhani dachas. They have the regular din, like you kill any individual that does avodah zara. So we're back to square one. Here's the question. The question is that the Mishnah said that sometimes if an entire shevet did an aveira, you would need 71 judges to judge the shevet. What's that talking about? What aveira? Amar Masna Hacha. We're talking about, we go to Tazayin Amar Aleph, B'nesi Shevet Shechat Askin. And here we're talking about, not that the entire Shevet did an Avera, it's like the president of the Shevet. The president of a Shevet has a different din, a different halacha than a regular person. Regular person that does an avera that's chayiv misa 23, but a president, like a president or a melech, right, or something, a president of every shevet, then you need 71. Mi loy amar Rav Ada bar Hava, Rav Ada bar Hava says, Kol adava agadol yavayin olecha. The Moshe Rabbeinu was told that any big matter comes to you. You decide. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu in his body is like 71 people. So what the Torah was telling us, that only Moshe was allowed to judge Devarav Shel Gadol, the matters concerning a Gadol, somebody, a powerful person with authority, like a Nasi. So only 71 judges can judge Hainame Gadolhu. So the president is a Gadol, and therefore you need 71 people to judge that person. So again, if a president of a Shevet was Mechal Shabbos, you need the 71 judges, the Supreme Court, to decide that case. Ula Ama Reb Laza, Bevoyin al Iski Nachlas. The Mishnah is discussing another thing. His understanding of the Mishnah is that there's two Shvatim that are arguing on a piece of property, and they don't know which Shevet it belongs to. There you need 71. Like when we arrived in Israel, when Yeshua's time, just when we arrived in Israel, we need 71 judges. Afkan, so if a fight breaks out between two Shvatim concerning land in Israel, which Shevet it belongs to, Shivim ve'echad, you need the 71 judges to decide that. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, if that's the pshat in the Mishnah, and you're always comparing it the way we decided who's gets what land when we entered Eretz Yisrael, so if we're following that program, so just like when we came into Eretz Yisrael, Kalpi, there was a lottery, Urim V'Tumin, you had the Urim V'Tumin, the breastplate of the Kohen, the Chol Yisrael, every Jew was there, Afkan, Kalpi, Urim V'Tumin, Chol Yisrael. So also if the fight breaks out, it should be 71 judges, but also you should have a lottery, you should have an Urim V'Tumin, and the entire Jewish people should be present. So that cannot be the pshat in the Mishnah. The Mishnah only says that this case, you only need 71 judges, nothing else. Rav Nachman had the best teretz. It's talking about the president that did the Avera. Now we said like this. Ravina says, we could even say that the Mishnah is discussing when an entire Shevet did the Avodah Zarah. We should, how your question was, why should we give them saif, the knife? Each one should get a skila. So, and that's true. Everybody would get a skila. If the entire Shevet did the Avera, they would get the skila. Afagav that katlinin b'yachid, even though we're killing them the way we'd kill an individual that does avodah zarah, beidina derabim dainin alei. We are judged the entire shevet as with the 71. To decide that they need misa, the 71 judges will decide if an entire shevet, everybody in the shevet committed to do avodah zarah, then the 71 judges will decide that we got to kill this entire shevet. But what misa will you give each individual of the shevet? That's skila. Me like Amar Rabbi Chama bar Yosi. Rabbi Chama bar Yosi had a drasha from a pasuk. I say so isha hu, I say isha he. You take that man who did avodah zarah, and you take him to the bezdin. Any individual that does avodah zarah, you take him to the gates of the city, which is where the bezdin was located, the local bezdin. If everybody in the city did avodah zarah, then you don't take the whole city because the bezdin is complicit in the avodah zarah. So hachinami also over here, you could darsh the same thing. Every individual that does avodah zarah, you take them to the local bezdin. If an entire shevet did avodah zarah, you don't take them to a local bezdin. What's going to decide the fate of the entire shevet will be the 71 judges in the Beis Hamikdash. Then we say loyas navi sheker. A false prophet is judged by the 71 judges. Says the Gemara, how do I know that? You learn Gzeir Shava of the two words Zodain from Zaken Mamre. Zaken Mamre is someone who rebels against the Sanhedrin in the Beis Hamikdash. Just like when Zakin Mamre has to rebel and decide, I'm not listening to the 71 judges, Alkan to decide the fate of a Navi Sheker, even if the Navi Sheker was Bechal Shabbos or the Navi Sheker was a Navi Sheker, if he's a Navi Sheker, who decides his fate? Shivin Echad. You need the 71 judges. Says the Gemara, "Vavazada ki kesiva b'katalu diksiva ukatalu be'esrim tlasahu." If you're going to make the Gzera Shava to Zakin Mamre, because it says the word Zada Zada, but when the truth is the Aveira that the Zakin Mamre did was he rebelled against the 71. Then the Torah says you kill him in front of 23 judges, and there the Torah wrote the word Zadite. So if you're going to have a Gzera Shava of Hazada, you're going to, from Navi Sheker to Zakin Mamre, well, the Gzera Shava will only be aligned to the amount of people that are around when you kill the Zakin Mamre, which is 23, and therefore a Navi Sheker should also only need 23. Elamar Shlakish says, Gama Davadava Mehamrase. We learned the Gzera Shava of Davadava Mehamrase. The way you kill a Navi Sheker is the way the Zakin Mamre did his Avera. Zakin Mamre does his Avera by rebelling against the Sanhedrin of 71. So, and that's how we're going to use 71 to kill the Navi Sheker. Then let's learn Zakin Mamre with a backward another gezeres, the same gezeres shava that you had before, hazad hazad from Navi Sheker. Just like Navi Sheker needs 71 to kill the Navi Sheker, so the Zakin Mamre should also need 71 to be there to kill him. And says the Gemara, Dover Gamer to kill him. Dover Gamer hazad hazad lein Gamer. We only had one gezeres shava of Dover, but not hazad hazad. The Gemara originally thought there was such a Gzeir Shava. Now the Gemara retracts and says there was never such a Gzeir Shava. So bottom line is, when you kill a Navi Sheker, deciding his fate is the 71. Deciding the fate of a Zakin of Mamre is the 23. The Avera that the Zakin Mamre does is he rebelled and decided, I'm not listening to the Sanhedrin of the 71. V'lo yesa Kohen Gadol. A Kohen Gadol that does an Avera. Let's say a Kohen Gadol is Bechal Shabbos. Again, it's 71 people that judge him. Says the Gemara, Minah Halimini, how do I know that? Amar Adabar Halo, the Amakra, Kol Davar Gadol Yavui Alecha, Devar Gadol. Again, there was brought before Moshe Rabbeinu all matters concerning a guy of authority. Moshe Rabbeinu is like the 71. So the Torah tells you when a man of authority, like the Kohen Gadol, does Avera, it's the 71 judges, the Supreme Court, that's who is going to decide his fate. Says the Gemara, Meisvei, I'm going to ask you a question. This Brisa says, Davar Gadol means that not the matter of a person, it means Davar Kasha, difficult things were brought to Moshe Rabbeinu. Davar Kasha, maybe it means that matters concerning an authoritative person was brought to Moshe Rabbeinu to decide. It already explains what it means. Davar Gadol means difficult things were brought to Moshe Rabbeinu. So this Brisa says that only the Moshe Rabbeinu decided difficult things, but not matters concerning a gadol of a person. So how do you know that when you're judging a Kohen Gadol, you need 71 people? This Brisa seems to disagree with that. And says the Gemara, Hu da'amakahai Tana. Our Tana says it like this Tana. The Tanya we learned in the Brisa, Dvar Gadol, Dvar of Shagadol, the matters concerning an authoritative person were brought before Moshe Rabbeinu. Maybe it means only difficult things, big matters were brought to Moshe Rabbeinu. But the Torah says difficult matters were brought to Moshe Rabbeinu. What do I use the pasuk Davar Gadol? Dvarav Shel Gadol. The matters pertaining to a great person were brought before Moshe Rabbeinu. So that's the pshat in the Gemara. That's the pshat in our Mishnah that matters pertaining to a Kohen Gadol were decided by Moshe Rabbeinu, or the same things decided by the 71 judges. Frag the Gemara, V'haitana Trei Kroi Lamali. Why does the pasuk need two psukim? Why did the pasuk if davar kosher means if it davar gadol means difficult things, the first Tana, why do you need two psukim to tell you that Moshe Rabbeinu decided difficult matters? And it says Gemara Chad letzavah ba'alma. One was Moshe Yisro telling Moshe this idea that he should decide difficult things. The Chad la'asiyah, the implementation that Moshe followed through what his father-in-law advised. The idach, or the other man the Amma, maybe he needs davar gadol to teach you that as well. In came lichtayv I gadol I kasha kasha. Then it could say use the same word twice, and I would say one is for the Yisro advising, and one the Chumash is telling you that Moshe followed through. My gadol, my kasha. Why did the Torah switch the language? Shmami Natarti teaches you another idea that not only did Moshe Rabbeinu decide difficult matters, but he also decided matters concerning a Kohen Gadol, and since Moshe Rabbeinu decided matters concerning a Kohen Gadol, that means you need 71 to decide the matters of concerning a Kohen Gadol. Ask the Gemara, Boy Rab Lazar. Rab Lazar asked the question, Shoyri shel Kohen Gadol bekama. Let's say the ox of a Kohen Gadol killed a human being. Now, we said an ox that kills a human being, you need 23 judges. But since the Kohen Gadol himself needed 71, maybe if the Kohen Gadol owned an ox that killed somebody, you would also need 71. Lemisas bailam didei medamin lei. Do we compare the ox to the death of its owner, which is the Kohen Gadol, which you would need 71? Oidima lemisas bailam the alma medamin lei. We compare the ox of a Kohen Gadol to regular misa of a human being, which needed 23 to decide. Omar Abai, so the Gemara is going to leave this unresolved. Omar Abai, since you're only asking a question, what do you do with the ox of a Kohen Gadol? What about not matters concerning of Chilul Shabbos? Let's say the Kohen Gadol has a lawsuit against somebody, or somebody. How many people would you need? Everybody knows you need 3. Pshita. That's simple. You need 3. Because I would have thought, hey, because of kol hadavar gadol, kol dvar shel gadol, I would think that it means any matter concerning a kohen gadol, you need 71. Kamash Malan, it's not every matter. It's capital punishment matters of a kohen gadol needs 71. A civil argument, a financial argument of a kohen gadol, 3 is enough. But the question is, now you're deciding the death of the ox of a Kohen Gadol that killed a human being. That death, would that fate be decided by like a Yisrael, like a regular Jew's ox with 23? Or would you need to use the Kohen Gadol's ox, would need 71 judges to decide if you kill that ox? And the Gemara leaves that unresolved. Ein Meitziyah. You don't go to war unless you go to ask the Sanhedrin. Like Lahavda, we ask Congress to go to war. You can't go to war without asking the 71 judges. How do you know that? Amar Abbo, the Amakra, there's a pasuk says, If Nei Allah Kohen Yamai, who Zemelach, V'chol B'nei Yisrael, Ita Zeh Mashiach Mechama, V'chol Eida Zeh Sanhedrin. So the Torah describes war, and the Torah indicates that you take permission from the Sanhedrin, from the king, and you take Kohen along with you to war. Says the Gemara, maybe the Sanhedrin was not that you need their okay to go to war. Maybe the reason you asked the Sanhedrin, because the Sanhedrin was one that poses the question to the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol, Urim V'Tumim. But we don't ask the opinion of the Sanhedrin to go to war. Ella, so how do you know what's the source that you go to war? By asking the permission of the Sanhedrin. So actually, it's not a pasuk in the Chumash, but it's a pasuk in Divrei Yom. Elaki Omar Rav Achabar Bizna Omar Rav Shimon Chasida. The following statement was said by Rav Shimon Chasida, and this describes how the Jews went to war. Kino hayatol malami mitasa shel David. David had like a violin on top of his bed, and Kivan Shegiya Chatzos Laila. When it reached midnight and David HaMelech was sound asleep, Ruach Tzafayim and Hashavas by. There was a strong north wind that blew over that harp. And it went over the strings and it made music. David got up and learned Torah, because the best time to learn Torah is the middle of the night. And he learned till Shachris time, till the morning. When he was ready to go to Shachris, the Jewish people, the Chachamim, his advisors, came to him. They told him, a master, a king. The Jewish people need sustenance. In other words, some people are poor and not making it. Let them get jobs with each other. Let the rich give the poor jobs and money. There's too little money by the rich to be able to support this lion, the amount of poor people. The pit cannot fill with the dirt that you take out from it in the ring around the pit. If you try to fill it back up, it wouldn't fill up the pit. In other words, there's not enough to satisfy maybe the tuition bills. So anyway, Amalam. So we have a problem. There's a large poverty in Israel. So Amalam, David HaMelech said, let's go to war. Yad Yatzim Achitophel, they would ask Achitophel, Binimlochin beSanhedrin, they get the permission of the Sanhedrin, V'shi'alim beTurim Tumim, and they would ask the Urim Tumim. And this is Omar of Kurav, Yosef, Mikra, what is the pasuk that corroborates the story? So we go to Tazayim Abayz, Achrei Achitophel, Binyo Ben Yada, V'Yosef V'Sar Tzavol Melech Yoyev, Achitophel Zayayitz, that's the advisor. V'cheinu moimo achitz asas Achitophel shiyartz. V'nyanu ben Yayada zen Sanhedrin. The pasuk says that they would ask Binyahu ben Yayada if they should go to war, and Binyahu was the one that led the Sanhedrin. And then the Divrei Yamin says they ask if Yasser Elu Urim V'Tumim. They would ask the Urim V'Tumim. V'cheinu ben Yada al Kreisi v'Alplesi. And Binyan ben Yada was also in charge of asking the Urim V'Tumim. Now, why is the Urim V'Tumim called crazy placey? That's it lit up in the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. Lama Nikra Shema crazy placey. Why the Urim V'Tumim is nicknamed crazy placey? Crazy shekarson devren. Crazy means it sets very clear words. Uplacey shmefloim masem. Whatever it says is like it's shocking. Like no one can predict what it could say, what it will say. It was like lahavdo. Like you ask something, and the crystal ball will give you the answer. So they would ask it, and somehow, in a certain side, the lights of the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol would light up, and they would have to figure out what it's trying to say. That's the pasuk that says that David HaMelech woke himself up every night with the harp. Now, let's just do another 2 minutes, then we'll stop. Vein Maisifin El Al Ha'ir. You don't add to a city. You don't add to a city. You don't add to Jerusalem unless you ask the permission of the 71. To make Jerusalem larger, Jerusalem is a holy place. So in order to enlarge in Jerusalem, the Mishnah says you also have to take permission of the 71 judges. How do I know that? The Mishnah says that if you want to make the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan larger, the Mishnah says you follow the instructions that we did here, and in future generations, that's how you would enlarge the Mishkan, the Beis Hamikdash, the city of Jerusalem. So we follow, just like in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, they had the permission of the Sanhedrin. So if you want to enlarge the Beis Hamikdash or Yerushalayim, you also need the Sanhedrin. Masav Rava asked the question, if you're always going to follow the way they did things in Moshe Rabbeinu's time, Kol HaKelim Shasu Moshe, any Kalim of the Mishkan that Moshe Rabbeinu made for the Mishkan, Mishichosum Mekachrim, he put oil on them, and that made it a holy vessel. But if later on you want to add a new vessel for the Mishkan, the only way to make it holy is Avodasan Mechanchen. As soon as you do a service with that Keli, it makes it holy. So, the pasuk says you should always follow what Moshe Rabbeinu did. And if Moshe Rabbeinu made vessels holy only by smearing oil on it, so when we want to make a vessel holy, we should only be allowed if you smeared oil on it. And says the Gemara, Shan Hasam over here, it's different. The pasuk says, Moshe smeared oil and made the vessels holy. Only Moshe required to do Mashiach, anoint, but not for future generations. Another half a minute. The Ema Oisam Mashiach Uladiris, maybe Oisam Mashiach, only in time of Moshe Rabbeinu you did smearing of oil. Uladiris, but for future generation, Iba Mashiach, Iba Avoida. You could either smear the keli with oil or use it for a service. How do you know that smearing oil on the keli in future generations is not going to work at all? The Torah tells you the only way to make something holy is you do a service with it. The pasuk tied it in with serving. What does Oisam teach you? Because if you have a pasuk that says Yisharshu, I don't need oisam to limit Mashiach only worked by Moshe Rabbeinu. Ilav oisam, if I didn't have oisam havamina l'doris for future generations, you have a choice, b'Mashiach or uvayvayda with the service. So the Yisharshu means like an addition. Because the Torah actually did say, try to follow what Moshe Rabbeinu did. So maybe you would allow to make a vessel holy by smearing it with oil. Only during Moshe Rabbeinu to make a vessel holy, oil. But for future generations to make a vessel holy, it's with Mashiach. However, we do follow Moshe Rabbeinu if we want to enlarge Jerusalem, if we want to enlarge the holy base of Mikdash. So then you need to ask permission, just like in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, they asked permission of the Sanhedrin to do it. Okay, we're going to stop over here in Tezayin Amabeis.
Shkoyach, thank you.
Yes. So the Gemara continues, Vein Oisen Sanhedrius, Mnolan, how do you know you can't assign new Sanhedrin for, let's say, every Shevet needs a Sanhedrin. So who establishes the new Sanhedrins of the 23? You need the judges of the Supreme Court of Sanhedrin Gedola to make the Sanhedrin Kantana. Minalan, how do you know that idea? Like you find by Moshe Rabbeinu. Udaoiki Sanhedrins, Moshe Rabbeinu made little Sanhedrins. Moshe himself is like one of the 71. So therefore, you need 71 of the Supreme Court to make this to make the oh, pardon me. You need 71 of the Supreme Court to make the judges. And Tanner Rabban, we learned in the Brisa. How do you know that you actually make judges for the Jewish people? How do you know you put enforcers of the judgments? You put on a police force. How do you know you put judges for every shevet has its own 23? For every shevet needs its own shofet. Each shevet had its own 23. Shoftim l'chol ir v'ir menayin. How do you know you have to have a 23 judge supreme court in every city? Talmud lo shoftim l'sharecha. The shoftim is for every city. Shoitr l'chol ir v'ir menayin. How do you know you need police force and forces for every city? Talmud lo shoitrim l'shvatecha. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Yehuda said, "Echa mamun al kulam." You still need a Supreme Court. Despite putting all 23 judges in every city and every shevet, and even if a shevet has in different cities, let's say you have a shevet in two shvatim in one city, you would need a 23 judge for each shevet of that city. So, but you still need a Supreme Court on top of that. Titen lecha, one of them should be on top of you, on all of those judges. And then Shimon Galil mitzvah b'shevet lo shifte. And here is the source, according to Shimon Galil, that every shevet has to be the judge of his own shevet. And it's not like somebody from one shevet can go to the judgment of another shevet. If you are in Shevet Zvulun, you have to go to the court of Shevet Zvulun. But you can't go to the Shevet Naphtali for your case, to judge your case. You have to stick within your Shevet. Okay, we're going to stop over here. Daf Tezayin Amabeis.